Well, hello everyone. We're doing another video here on Wednesday. So we're in the infancy of the NBA season. I mean, it is game one for many of these teams in basketball. And but everyone's really interested in basketball. It's a big seller. I usually sell a lot of the algorithms for the sport at the beginning of the season. Obviously, like football sales were really big at the beginning of the season. Now it's basketball. Hockey, not that many people. People buy hockey, but then they either want to take it and make it their own baby, or they want to hear from me once in a while. It's not like basketball, and I understand why. So basketball is interesting to bet on because it's actually quite reliable. So I also got one of those free offers from Fanduel popping up as a notification, and it said, hey, if you wager $50 on any same game parlay or anything NB related, where you try to throw a parlay together of three or more picks, let's say, it has to be at least three, and it has to pay, at least um, 4 to 1. So this would not qualify, or would it? I think it has to be better than. No, maybe it is. That is better than plus 400 odds. The odds are plus 596. So I think this would work if you all three of your picks were minus 110. Well, what if they were minus 125, minus 250? Yeah, then you're barely getting there, I think. Okay. So I'm putting them in the calculator. Well, what do you need to wager on? And it also can be more than three. Like you can do as many as you want. You just obviously have to win because it's a parlay, and it has to be $50 at that level, right? So it got me thinking about, well, all right, you're going to give away, you're going to reimburse me $50 if I lose this bet, is what they said. And I'm like, I can't turn down free money. It's like a free lottery ticket, right? So I'm like, all right, well, we have the NBA algorithm. So what would you do if you wanted picks that are all gonna win, right? Which sounds, it sounds intuitive, right? You're looking for picks that are winners, but I also look for lines a lot of time. But this promotion, where it's free $50 wager, you want to get everything right that you really, really, really think is going to happen right on here to get paid the most, because there is no penalty if you lose. You just don't win. You get your money back, but you could set one of these things up, for with some crazy lines, which I would recommend doing it this way, which is grabbing a bunch of stuff that's like minus 250 that you really, 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 really like. Okay. Because if you do that, that becomes a 16 parlay, and you do get there. So you can pick like six really, really favored things, right? There's a lot of things you can do here, I believe. So I'm going to go through the file and the rendering, which has the current injury report, and we're going to try to do things that are supposed to happen, right? Like, so for example, the Timberwolves are supposed to beat the Thunder. They're the biggest margin on both these games, Timberwolves and Atlanta. These are the two highest margin games. If these games lose, it's the beginning of the season, so anything can happen. So you almost don't want to waste the lines. However, are we going to make any other action on this game? And that's where you get into things like going into the injury report and opening up what's going on, because there's some interesting questions. Like I talked to the Wolfman today, who is interested in betting NBA because he now his baseball is basically over, and he sees the reliability in NBA results, and he's doing his own thing against the algorithm, not necessarily against the algorithm, but he's doing his own thing to do his own analysis. And I said, hey, who are you playing today? And Wolfman said that he was playing Memphis and he was playing Brooklyn. And so I looked at the algorithm and something popped out at me. The Brooklyn pick is a lower margin, but it is good still. It says Brooklyn wins at home. Memphis, though, is 68% injured according to the algorithm. What does that mean? What's going on? Well, let's open up the injury report with Memphis and get some intelligence on this game, because it may or may not be one of our picks. So here's the problem. There's injuries here. And this thing does move around. There's somebody's got a foot, a knee, and a playing and a thigh. And Dylan Brooks has the thigh. I mean, how hurt can your thigh be? That's probably playable. Knees, not so much. Who's the knee person? Two people are knees. So I call knee injuries just because I've had knee injuries and I've had thigh injuries, and you can play with thigh. I love play basketball, but whatever. Foot, Probably playable, right? Like if you have a broken foot, they'd be like, you're not playing, right? So foot's probably okay as well. So it's really these two are playing. So if Jaren Jackson, these two people play, right? So here's how you could, I mean, you could add their percentages up. You know, the point is like playable, not so playable. So the stronger players actually are kind of playing, I think, and are probably close to 100% because it is the start of the season. So in that sense, I kind of think, well, I guess they're not really all that injured. And so I go back to here and I'm not as concerned about the 68 as I was, but it's still not a premium pick, even though the margin is there. So it would actually put you on the side of saying they probably will win still, and those guys will probably play. But it's a really tough call, and it's one of those where on this parlay that we're going to make, I don't want it. So I'll take these two awful lines to start, and if one of them goes down, then we know not to do that in the future. But we're going to do it because the algorithm says they win these games. All right. So we got those two down. What else are we going to do? We just want winners, right? I'm not touching points or anything yet because I don't think it's that predictable. We're staying away from Memphis because of the suspected injuries. Phoenix, 11% margin, supposed to win. Miami, supposed to win. Sacramento at 100% and a 9% margin, supposed to win. Then we get into the Utah Jazz situation. So all these, right? These are just top down, right? We're taking what we have. I don't think we're going to be at plus 400. We might be at plus 400 actually. 1 second. We might be there. We are there. This is 4.8. So these are actually the big favorites other than Memphis. And it doesn't pay a fortune, but you're not trying to pay a fortune. You're trying to get something back on a $50 refundable bet. So this is what I'm going to do. They're like minus 700 now, actually. I saw that. So, and some of these games might have started, but that still gets you there. So I'm going to read the algorithm in this sense and not get too concerned. There's other things you could add to this, but I want to win this, and I wanted to just barely get it over 4-1. And I think this is called the same game parlay plus, which is it's not the same game at all, but doesn't have to be. Like it just has to be a combination of NBA games. If they don't refund me because of that, then that'll be my mistake reading it. But I think that this is acceptable, so I'm going to do that. And I wanted to do the video because one, people that are interested in the NBA algorithm, boy, is there a lot you can do with it. I mean, oh my God, right? Wait till we actually get current season stats in here. I'm doing daily emails from now until the end of October, and then I'm not doing daily emails with this anymore because I want you to go to RotoWire and subscribe to RotoWire to get stats and to import things and to use their service. Because I noticed as I was logging in this time that they don't offer the actual injury report like this, that they don't tell you the status because that's a moving piece of information that they're tracking. And there's value and knowledge in there. And that kind of knowledge affects wagering and fantasy and a whole bunch of other things. And I understand why they charge, and you should pay them if you want to monitor this and do this yourself. I've gotten like messages from people that are like, Ken, your college basketball algorithm like put me through college. And I'm like, I guess it could if you are really structured and you do stuff like what we're doing tonight to try to hit the same game parlay, which might not win, but man, is that like the best way the algorithm is set up to try to win. You don't get caught potentially losing the Utah game, which is funky for some reason. Don't take Memphis because they're still potentially injured. Take these guys. We stay away from Brooklyn because all of a sudden the margins drop below 10, and even the Utah one's only a 7. So here we're basically cutting this off at almost 10% margin. And we're just taking money lines. So spreads can't beat you. So if this doesn't win, I mean, the algorithm usually it's going to be close. I bet you. I'm not going to bet you. I'll show you what ends up happening. And you can't really bet this as a round robin because it doesn't pay because the lines are awful, right? So this is one of those where even if you did $100 on this and lost one game, you'd still lose money. If you lost one game here, you'd lose money, right? I mean, it's really an interesting phenomenon to try to have to play through bonuses or like take your cues from what bonus is offered. Because I would do about something like this, but I would make better lines if I was not doing it with free money. So I think that there's certainly a different way to wager when you're given these what I call lottery tickets with an edge. Like you're really getting an edge when you get to look at all this because you can make the most intelligent decisions possible with the most current information. And it just allows you. I mean, I would never know what to do in NBA unless I was looking at something like this. So whatever. All right, guys. Good luck, everyone. May all our picks be. Will these big five win? And will this thing win? I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll let you know in the comments below. So good luck. May all your picks be winning.